Only the best music. Thanks for listening.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
The best music.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Star Radio UK.
The best radio show.
This is Star Radio UK.
The best music.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
All right. A very good afternoon. Good evening to you. Good morning, depending on where you are. I want you to know that it is the doing of the Lord, and it's marvelous in our eyes. We are here because God has kept us amongst the living. You know what? It's another blessed day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing. We are glad in it. And you know what? It's Faith Talk once again. I am excited. I am overjoyed because what? The topic this afternoon in the city of London has been a very great day with rain throughout the day. You know London already. But hey, our fans all the way in Australia, China, we thank you for keeping faith with us in Africa, across the globe. We salute and honor all of you for tuning in to Faith Talk live on Star Radio UK this and every Sunday from the hours of 5 p.m. But hey, forgive us for starting a bit late, technical hitches, but hey, we've overcome it and we are going to kickstart. You don't want to miss even a second of this program, this particular show. I am excited. I am overjoyed. My triple VIP guests, they are all set and ready for me. His Excellencies are all set for me. But let me acknowledge our sponsors quickly before I go to them. Let me say a big thank you to Kerry's Furniture all the way in Atlanta, Georgia. They say that their Christmas sale is on 15% if you mention Star Radio UK. The amazing thing is that they can deliver to your doorstep no matter where you are. From Moscow to Caracas, they can deliver to your doorstep. And also, it's Mayor Associate based in Ghana. If you're looking for a project management company based in Ghana for your commercial or private project, look no further. It's Mayor Associate from conception to completion. These guys will do a professional job for you. And also, let me say a big thank you to M&M Concept. They are graphic designers based in Ghana, a global company, but based in Ghana. Competitive prices. These guys are good at what they do, from all the merchandise and printing works. They will do that for you. Last but not the least, our major sponsor is CIG Properties based in the United Kingdom. If you're looking to invest in Africa or in the United Kingdom, it is CIG Properties, www.cigpropertyuk.com. Connect with them and your property and investment is safe. You know what? These guys are professionals. And at the end of the program, I will give you all their details, how to get in contact with them. But now, hey, let me salute all our cherished listeners who have kept faith with us all these years. We honor you for joining us, but I have to go straight to our main triple VIP guest, and they are all set to grace this beautiful occasion. And I am honored and privileged that I am hosting. I call them the not just the go-to, but the people that make it happen on the planet Earth. And so I am going to start off for them to introduce themselves, and I have General Belton joining me, and also Honorable Lee Clerk joining me as well. Gentlemen, Honorable, Your Excellencies, you are welcome to Faith Talk live on Star Radio UK.
Well, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure. So anything or any questions you may want to have answered, if you do pick up any questions from your own audiences, because it may seem a little out there, we're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Wonderful, and I thank you for that. General Belton, you're welcome.
Yes, respects to you, and glad to be a part of this exchange here. Respects be to everyone.
Wonderful, and I would like, for the sake of our audience and listeners across the globe, if you can please introduce yourself and who you are and your organization. If you can do that, starting with General Belton, please.
Yes, thank you. I'm Grantor Lamont Durrell Belton, sui generis at law, Chief Judge for the Alternations and the World Marshal Authority. I say that humbly and respectfully. A judge is someone that will weigh the facts so the facts will speak, and we will make certain that we're not contrary to what we the people, or people, the true sovereign, and that is not highlighting by most of your agencies or legalities or municipal operations. We do respect humanity. This group is to effectuate the covenants that were overlooked so many years for humanity, for Aboriginal, Indigenous people, for great relations, and to make certain that people comprehend that there is guarantees that are in place to make certain that no one is suffering or anything is stagnant. These are fully assured. So we have mastered what we call the uniform or the Universal Commercial Code. That particular code is the regulatory authority for all legislatures that were dismissed or nullified in 1930 by the Geneva Convention.
Okay.
And that was posted via the United Nations and other international or world tribunals such as the ICJ of the International Criminal Court. It was something to make certain that the reset will take place smoothly. It has already taken place. Most people may not be aware, they may have an idea of it, but most of the common people were not comprehending that agencies or bureaus had brought forth the salvation of what was necessary for people in 1930.
Right.
It has been overlooked. It has been undermined too long, and it has put the planet at risk. And it has allowed people that are injurious and diabolical to injure, and it has put themselves at risk as well. So we do not engage in violating people. We respect the cultures and traditions of people, and to make certain that the laws and the funding respect that presence that existed before we engage. So you have certain charters that people may comprehend that exist, but not fully aware that these charters were creations and fictions that went under bankruptcy, and they are allowed to operate if they do not violate we the people. And that is an individual account of each person, not being greater or less than. If they have an issue, the servants within the court systems, the judicial or the judiciary capacities were to introduce them to these proceedings that were guaranteed. So I hope that you kind of comprehend these things that I'm saying, and if you have specific questions, then I would answer those. But that's the main intentions.
I will definitely do as we go along. And Honorable Lee Clerk, if you can please introduce yourself and let our audience and viewers across and listeners across the world know who you are and the organization and what position you hold, please.
Okay, as the General is the Chief Judge, UCC, the World Marshal Authority is established as the enforcement for those codes. So any malpractice, any misrepresentation, any corruption, doesn't matter about the titles or institutionals or whoever you are, they have all been promulgated and linked. So in actual fact, I work with various courts, the ICJ, the Sovereign International Justice Courts, The Hague, which ICJ is part of. The General is a Chief Judge. He owns his own 2 on-record de jure courts. So just for the audience's sake here, to explain the difference between de jure and de facto, you have a Queen of England who is de jure, and you have Boris Johnson who is de facto.
Yeah.
So we are looking into all of the misrepresentations of the debt facility. So if you think of all of the money on the planet and you go to your GDP, you go to the debt on the person, each individual within a nation, that is a misrepresentation. It's an IOU, it's a promissory note, it's a promise to pay. So what we're actually delivering not just us alone. There are other sovereigns involved. You've probably heard of the GCR, the Great Reset, and all the other things that are supposedly going on around in the world. But in actual fact, the codes that are to release this is who I operate with. Now, there are a couple of separate entities. They run, let's say, various court systems as well. They're de jure, they are royals or royalty. So I'm part of House of Crowns, and I'm also the sovereign IGO to the United Nations, not with or for it. So, of course, with that, you have the declarations of UN DRIP, the UN DRIP Charter and the UN Citral Charter, which is declarations too, not with or for. The United Nations didn't invent this. It was the declaration that they have to abide by. So that puts us on a, let's say, a pedestal above the United Nations in that regard. And as we know, the United Nations is a political, being corporate or de facto organization. They're not called an authority, they're called an organization, like the World Health Organization and so on. So they're just a platform. They get their or receive their approvals or authorities from the ICJ. Now, internationally, yes, there's good and bad elements in everything that globally. So we look into or try to readdress or rebalance the bad from good. You'll never get rid of the entirety of evil. Otherwise we'll never learn anything. However, some things do certainly need addressing in the world right now. So under the Great Seal Perseveranda, which is the UCC, and the flip side of that coin is the Semper Tyrannis, the official government seal, or official Virginia state seal, and the Commonwealth, which is America Republic. So if you think of the America or the USA as a blanket, the furnishings, the cities, the towns, and everything else, and then you have the which is under the seal, the Washington DC seal, which is a corporation registered Delaware in 1871, and then you have and I'm sure the general will address this, the lands,
right,
never owned. So you have two. You have America Republic and you have USA Inc. So America Republic is the First Nations people. It's the lands, it's the territories, it's everything that is America or Americas. But the Perseverando and the UCC is a global entity. It is actually it's universal. It's universal commercial codes. Simply put, we're sat on a giant ball floating around the universe. So you need some codes for that, because a lot of people seem to be going off planet. So they have to adhere to those universal codes. The only laws in space at this moment in time are the UN treaties. So they still have to fall back to codes. If you can't come to an agreement or a settlement within a court or a verdict, then you have to refer to the codes. So you have the uniform commercial codes, you have the universal commercial codes, and you have the uniform bonding codes, which all are bonded under or bonded to. So as the enforcement, everybody over the past 100 years or so has been ignoring the UCC rulings. So we've created that enforcement to enforce those codes.
Okay, so for what you've just explained, the UCC, and there are certain things that you mentioned about the United Nations. Does it mean that World Martial Authority sits above the United Nations and some of these organizations that they are in code? They sound and look more popular than the World Martial Authority.
Okay, so you're looking at this as a perspective. Where does that line stop?
Right.
Okay,
yes.
So you're looking into, we administer the, let's say, indictments for the higher levels. We're not patrolling the streets like the local authorities or the police. They are bonded as well. They swear an oath, as I have as well. We swore an oath to the UCC and to General Belton's courts and his system. So the reality here is it's uniform. It's the system of common law and natural law is it's the original UCC. So you have the corporate UCCs, which is 56, 57, and 58 when they were born, but they all fell under the UCC bankruptcy or the Geneva Convention bankruptcy. So therefore, they're already in default. Whereas as sovereign, we don't hold debt, we don't operate the debtor system. So again, you have to look at it to the degree where does the buck stop? Where do you go? Where do you go to obviously tackle a lot of these issues or these problems? Because the UN doesn't actually have any authority. They are just a platform to make agreements between nations.
Right.
Yes, they were established. Their first indoctrination or their first constitution was a good document. It wasn't perfect, but it was a good document. But that has been amended time and time again over the years to tackle the debt problem. So how do you tackle a debt problem or pull out of the bankruptcy? And this is where we come in. This is where we fit in to obviously alleviate that. If we spread wealth around the world, then everybody's going to eat it. It's got to be done in some form of moderation with some kind of balance. And this way it will affect and help and assist our future generations.
Right.
You know, that's what we're about here. We're not here to come in and tackle or wrestle with the United Nations and all the militaries around the world and all leaders. We're here to assist. But however, there are certain elements that do need arresting.
Okay. That sounds very interesting, and thank you for the answer. And let me come back to General Belton. Can you explain to us what common law is, and does it stand in court?
Yes, what most people, if they would comprehend, we can start with their charters. Most of the colonial charters before the intrusions on the landmass, and I say things respectfully, chronologically. It's never personal. I have to give the accuracy of what existed before. So we comprehend that common law is natural law or common sense, as Thomas Jefferson put it. Any laws or any statutes or anything that is created must be mindful not to injure the existing life form or the contiguous jurisdiction that it is in the waters with, sort of like Adam the Maritime. The vessel is flagged and it has a purpose at the water. So no one should intervene. Everything that manifests, everything is completely accounted for. So in short, the misconception is common law is, if you look in Article 1 of most of your charters, it would say common law. Then you have it is subject, or the Parliament, which would be the next operational system in your charter, that says that Parliament is subjected to or cannot write foreign to the common law. Then you have another operational system, which would be the constitutional republic. Then you have another operational system, which is the Commonwealth or Commonweal, which is the republic, which is not political, for non-citizens or American nationals or First Nation people, sui juris, aboriginals, people that may maintain severability, that may not be incorporated. There was a respect more so enduring within the 6 operational systems of the Charter that only has been expressed by the legislature. The legislative branch is the only branch that passes out suggestive practices. And they were in default because most of the legislatures were hijacked by the corporate interests, violating what you may call nature or natural or the God being, which would be the normal law, sui juris, jurisprudence, sound mind is what normal law is. So before we get into any systems, one must be sound, not to have the intent to injure. Right. So if you have charters that are on my board, if you may see, I've talked about them many times, but they're starting with Virginia. I try to model from a colonial relationship, and I being Belton, the Aboriginal. So I have the example to show people that It is doable. Even if there's infidelities, if you stick to what was written, it gives the guarantee, and it makes certain that special interests or entities are not belligerent or violate or commit acts of malfeasance. And if there is an act of malfeasance or infidelity, then there is a tribunal of competency that will bring forth the resolve, not a court that distances itself obligations to humanity. All courts are oath or sword first, not to the corporate interests, but to we the people and the preamble. And it is not disregarded. It is not something that the parliament has power within its trustee capacity to nullify. It is only sovereign of the people that can, and if all people decide to vacate their constitutions, then those who have severability will not, and they will be left alone. So it's just been one interest. The legislature does not represent, they can't represent you. You can only present yourself. One must present himself, and know ye men and ye women by their presentments. So the use of the Uniform Commercial Code is common law, commercial law is substantive jurisprudence, which is superior, which in terms highlight nature, or even in terms of a God entity, if you express that something that we come from that was grander or greater. To be reminded that when you writ the law, that it would not be foreign from those principles, you see. And the lesser is the corporate, which is under default. So we have an administration, which is the UCC transmitting utility, that would transmit or articulate the codifications, and one being very powerful, UCC 1-103.6. Nothing can preclude a common law or constitution or commercial law decision by the sovereign that is not incorporated. So the secured party creditor is one who's secured not just in terms of commercial navigation, in terms of money or currencies, but to not be divest or someone to attempt to undermine its sovereignty. So I hope that that has made it clear. So it's in your charters. It has not been education. The separate entities in the charter, the Constitution would have a court or to have police enforcement for that. The common law trust would have enforcement for that. And the parliament would have enforcement for that. Each one would have enforcement for their stead, and that has been the undermining of the sovereign. Just one entity that's action or operating, and there would be in a limited capacity, limited liability corporation. The corporation is allowed to operate. The liability is when the sovereign has an independent relationship, such as you may go to a store and contract. If that contracting relationship breaches your natural or commercial or common law stance, you would be superior because you are the secured party creditor. It distinguishes you from being default. And they cannot demand, in essence, debt in order to discharge the deficit that they are sworn on to do. So this helps them if we need to offer the liquidity for banks or for entities that may go on default. Instead of them putting together patch programs that may have tacit type behaviors that may injure people because everybody's desperate about the money, we have that cushion to bring forth stability and sustainability. So this is the intentions of the World Marshal Authority and the Uniform Commercial Code jurisdiction, you see.
That's very, very interesting. I'm learning a lot, and thank you for the education, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, this exists, and majority of people have no idea. And I talk to people that that takes me to my next question, but I'm just expressing the conversation I've had with a lot of people, talking about all these kind of corruption and how unfair some of the systems that have been implemented for years. It's not fair to humanity, and from what you're saying, there's a way out. So Before I go to my next question, let me say that if you've just joined us, you're live on Star Radio UK, and the program is Faith Talk. This is on every Sunday from 5 p.m. If you have joined us, I want you to do us the biggest favor. Share. We're live on YouTube, our YouTube channel, that's Star Radio UK. We are live on Facebook, couple of platforms, Star Radio UK fan page, Star Radio UK Facebook page, KB Bossman Facebook page as well. We are live on Periscope. On Twitter is at Star Radio UK, and also www.starradiouk.com, and also TuneIn Radio. We are live there. We are also live on our app, very interactive, user friendly. Download it on Android or your Apple Store, and you can listen on the go. So this afternoon I am privileged to be hosting General Belton and also Honorable Lee Clerk, who are giving us some serious education that, call the family to listen, call a friend to call a friend. We need to hear this, because I believe it's a game changer for the world today, and I believe that there is a lot that they are going to share with us. You need to get this going viral, so keep on sharing the link, and thank you so much. This takes me to my next question. So I believe that World Marshal Authority believes that they can end corruption. Is it something that you believe? Is it possible? Is it feasible that the World Marshal Authority can help our society to end corruption? And Honorable Lee Clegg, do you want to take it, or?
Okay, I'm happy to take that question.
Okay, please.
And the simple answer to that is yes.
Okay.
If you're committing a crime, then you're guilty of something. If you're harming humanity under the common law or natural laws, then that deems you open for arrest. Now, everybody that I speak to, and it's the question I normally get asked with this, they say they have the bigger guns. But why would you need the bigger guns if you're trying to help your nation? I mean, are we standing on UN toes? Are we standing on all these different political corporate toes? Oh, maybe we are. But the whole point of the matter is, if they are here to assist humanity and assist life, then we wouldn't be, would we? We wouldn't be in this situation to have to go to these lengths to actually administer indictments, to arrest people. So there is a lot going on behind the scenes. I mean, the world is looking a little desolate at this moment in time. We're in 2021. Yes. Why are we still suffering with poverty? Why is it worse than it ever has been? All these nations are falling apart. We're looking at economies collapsing. So, there's a lot. Like I mentioned earlier on, there are other elements involved with myself and the general who are working behind the scenes.
Right.
We can bring in enforcements, we can bring in militaries to assist to help with communities. We're not going out on this tyrannical situation, and we're going against this tyrannical situation because it's harm to life. There's no harm to life, no harm to planet. We have a platform which is a sovereign IGO called Alternations. You can find it alternations.life. Right. And the way we look at it, you're born, you're sovereign. That's as simple it is. Everybody is equal here. Now, there are a lot of bad elements out there, and it may seem to the world that the World Marshal Authority is like an ant fighting a bulldozer. But it's not. Because we do have marshals, and we do deal with the highest levels in nations. I speak to presidents, vice presidents, finance ministers, heads of banks, heads of global banks. And we do come to agreements. We are negotiating these settlements. We're negotiating what we're issuing and what others are bringing to the table. Let's get rid of the debt. We don't really need it. We never did. And debt is illegal. Right. We've called it debt. It's illegal. You can't put a debt on a person. You can't. You can't put a debt on somebody's jurisdiction. Now, we can talk about the World Bank, we can talk about the IMF and how they've been tackling things over the years, but we all know they've had more than enough money over the last 75 years from the sovereign elements to clear the world debt. They failed on their obligations to perform. So it's all about the performance. So as they've failed to perform, everybody is screaming and shouting, well, there must be a lot of money in the world, and there is. No alien ship has come down and stolen it and all taken it away. Yes, they're in the back end of banks. You know, the gold is still here. Everything that's been dug up for the last 50,000 years.
Yes.
No aliens have come down and taken it away. It's still here. So there is more than enough, let's say, finance or money in the world to rebuild it a million times over, but it's how you push it through. What's stopping that money coming through from de jure or private to public sectors? That's where your problem lies right there. So that's where we're going in, and we're taking steps to ensure that that funding does get released. We clear the world debt. I'm not meaning making everybody on the planet rich or super rich. It's going to be a different system. It's going to be something new, improved, and something that's going to last the next 100 generations, let's say, because we can't continue the way we're going right now.
Right.
Maybe the world is overpopulated. Maybe it isn't. Maybe there's enough land to grow enough food. Maybe there isn't. There's maybe climate change. There may be this situation where the whole virus thing is completely running out of control. It goes on and on. The list is endless. If it isn't this, it's always something else. So now we're coming in to say, right, okay, let's settle this. It's all about the settlement.
Right, okay. It's all about the settlement. And that is something that in conversation with some people, high-level people, they were a bit like, is this feasible? Is it possible? Is this something that can be done? You know how you've been dealing with over 193 countries around the world. So that means you have that capacity and ability to execute that goal or the target that you've set. Now, is General with us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My camera.
Oh, you're okay. I think your camera
Yes.
is okay. Right.
I'm trying to activate it again.
Okay, that's fine. So as we wait for General Belton, I was going to ask him the next question, but literally, Honorable Clegg, 193 countries that you have a development plan in place. How does this gifting benefit you? I mean, what do you get from this? The United Nations believe that you're doing a lot, and as you mentioned, the IMF, the World Bank, and other organizations and private investors are going into countries to help out. What do you benefit from gifting these countries?
Well, the simple answer to that, again, is under common law, if you gift somebody, you don't expect anything in return. They don't get anything from it. They don't benefit. Yeah, of course, the World Marshal Authority needs to operate. And again, just like everything else, it's all run by money. It's always about the money. So yeah, we will be funded via various entities to perform on the obligations that I have to perform on. And we will perform on them because I am oathed. I am under oath. I have to.
Right.
The same as any soldier would, or any police enforcement agency, or FBI, or whoever else you want to talk about, Interpol, or any other of the polls. So, yeah, we're indicted to do this. We are indemnified by the highest level courts. They come to us for assistance. We pass it down to, well, it could be Interpol, it could be the FBI, it could be, I don't know, it could be Metropolitan Police in London. We hand the indictments down to them to perform on that obligation from the courts, from the highest level courts. So there is a chain of command here. Now, there is a lot of resistance. Of course there is, there always is.
Yeah.
But we don't benefit from it. Yes, we're funded, and we will be funded by various entities to perform. That goes without saying. But what do I get out? I don't get anything. I just get a wage just like everybody else does.
Right. Okay. I was going to ask about how you are founded, where you get your funding from, because if you're not getting anything back from like the IMF and the World Bank that has impoverished countries across the globe with burdens of...
Okay, with that, we have our own source. So, which is, we have a voucher system, and it all falls under the UCC with the General Belton.
Right.
Now, not only that, I work with various other operatives who own codes to various, as I said earlier on, all the gold and everything else is still here. No aliens come along and stolen it. So it's readdressing that, reestablishing that, and putting that back in. And we are the delivery system of the wealth to the world. So, yeah, we do need some capital to fund, or we do need some funding to operate.
Yeah.
But we're not doing it in an illegal trespass manner.
Okay.
The people who are in the World Marshal Authority, let's use South Africa as an example.
Okay.
We have many marshals there. We have many ambassadors.
Right.
So they are all part of, let's say, the World Agricultural Authority, the World Health Authority, the World Marshal Authority, Alter Nations, and so on. Your own nation's people. We're not bringing drafting in people from other nations to run this.
Right.
You're doing it in your own nation, your own sovereign nation. You develop this. We're not getting involved. I'm currently in Spain. The general's over in America. We're not flying over there to deal with it and tackle the problem. They're going to deal with it. So it's all about your sovereignty. So across South Africa, for example, there are many kingdoms, original peoples, and there's always the squabbling over the lands. There's always infighting. So it goes up and builds up, and then it goes to the government. The government then gives permission, but the government is servant. We the people is master, government is servant, de jure is the law. You have your constitution, that's your supreme law. All right, we operate. If I went to South Africa, I would respect their constitution and the laws of their constitution.
Exactly.
I do work with the Constitutional Court of South Africa, and I have judges. We have UCC judges there that operate with them as well. They are chasing many things that are in the banks, i.e. stolen gold, stolen accounts that were issued or gifted to these nations. But they were embezzled, they were stolen, or they were corrupted. And it never got to we the people. So we're the delivery system to ensure that project on the ground gets funded, to ensure that that money gets to the people. So, in actual fact, if you go to the World Bank, which we're above the World Bank and the IMF and everybody else, because they work a debtor system, the World Bank holds sovereign accounts. You can't simply just open a bank account, a normal bank account in the World Bank. It gets filtered down. So the asset becomes the money. The money gets filtered through the United Nations, and it gets filtered through the let's say the Reserve Bank of a nation, through the central bank, through all the lawyers, through everybody else. And by the time it gets to the ground, there's nothing left. You get a shell of a building, and nobody gets fed. So we're doing it in a manner where we have the guarantee, we issue the guarantee directly to the nation. Money doesn't have to leave, it just stays where it is, and it gets used.
Right. Okay. So yes, and thank you for that. And before let me quickly also announce our WhatsApp number. If you want to send us a WhatsApp, it's 075 39661744. That's 075 39661744. That's our WhatsApp number. You can send your contributions or questions through, and I'm not too sure if I'll be able to open the phone lines, but if we do have time, we can open the phone lines for about 5 minutes. You can Call in if you're in the UK. It's 0208 133 2257 or 0208 133 2258. If you are in US of A or Canada, there's a free local number. It's not going to cost you. It's 001 718 303 2737. That's 001 718 303 2737, and you can ask your questions, but we will appreciate if you can send us your questions on either our Facebook platform or Twitter. That will be quite easier, so that we can have more time to discuss some of the issues with our special guest, because I believe the call-ins are good, but the messages are quicker and it's more efficient. So please keep them coming through, and I'll do everything possible to read it out. And thank you for that. I'm gonna come to General Belton. I believe that it's your video still playing up, please. General Belton? Oh, okay. So I believe General, can you please hear me? Okay. It looks like we've lost General Belton, but we'll continue with Honorable Lee Clerk. And Honorable, with regards to World Martial Authority, you believe that in the next 10 to 15 years you'll be able to change the world. You'll be able to make an impact. There's a plan in place that you want to execute and make things happen. How are you going to do that, and when is that starting?
It's already started.
Okay.
So the plans have been in place. We haven't been at this for 5 minutes. We've been at this for years. And, the build-up, we're only coming to the forefront now. If the world wasn't tyrannical, it was at peace, we wouldn't need to exist.
Right. So we're actually triggered when the world becomes tyrannical. It's not that we're going to go and go into mass battles with the world. It doesn't work that way. The way this works is, you have problems. Under the UCC bankruptcy, everything now falls under UCC bankruptcy. Right.
So we promulgated the world in 2019, and we also called the debt last year.
Yeah.
UCC bankruptcy debt has been called. So the way you've got to look at this, everything falls under bankruptcy. So under common law, that is an automatic 10 years. If you were a banker, for example, because all this boils down to money. So when you are operating with the banks, we give them reason to credit. Okay. If they don't credit, then they fail on their obligations. It's as simple as that, and that is an automatic 10 years because they are bonded under uniform bonding codes. Now, with that being said, we are offering resolve right now, and instead of remedy, because every harmful act there is a remedy. So now we're saying, okay, if you don't resolve the issue, because we're offering resolve, we're offering you an opportunity to claw yourselves out of the debtor system with something real and tangible. This is how money is made. This is the source of money. So if they decline or refuse to do that, then they fail on their obligations. We look at humanitarian projects. It's for humanity. So if you fail on your obligation to perform, okay, on that obligation, under tender of payment, UCC, the Federal Reserve Acts, or even the UN Citral, UN DRIP, and all guarantees and everything that goes with it. If you're still declining or failing on your obligations, not only a 10-year sentence, it's also a crime against humanity, because this is for humanity. A lot of the projects that we are trying to fund are food sourcing, their agriculture, their home building, their infrastructure. So as you were mentioning earlier on about the 193 nations and all of the money, where's it all coming from? What is it?
Yeah.
It's already there. It just needs to be, we need to flip the debtor system into something real and tangible. So the real money is there. The way money has been made over the last, let's say, 100 years is, while the world has operated under bankruptcy, it's been a proof of fund.
Right.
That proof of fund has been monetized, and that's what you're walking around with. It's debt. Only 1% of the world's money is backed by anything. All the rest is just traded out and spiraled out of control. This is why you have inflation. You cannot inflate real money. So we're issuing the real format of money, what money really is. So whether you could, I mean, here's an example. If I walked into the bank and said, I'm worth $232 trillion. I have $232 trillion cells within my jurisdiction.
Right.
And I'm worth $1 each. The banker's going to look at you and say, if you're some lunatic. And if you walk into the bank and say to the banker, can I go to the vault and see my little pile of cash and the gold that backs it? He'll still look at you like a regular lunatic and give you a statement and tell you to walk away. Okay, so that's the problem you have.
Yeah.
Which one's right? So yes, there is all of the everything that's been dug up, and it gets restamped every 5 years. You go through this system, which is defrauding. It's defaulting all of the time. So we're bringing in something or elements that can fix this problem. And yes, there are proposals for all 193 nations globally, not via the UN. We've tried that one, or the World Bank, or the IMF, or the BIS, or anybody else you want to talk to. We've already tried there, UBS, Deutsche Bank, and so on.
Yeah.
We've already been there. And what they've done is they've backed all the money into the back end of the banks and not released anything. So because the world debt is so high, you can't print it. It's an impossibility. You don't have the resources. So let's say the world debt with all currencies around the world tops around $4 quadrillion, and you were to print that, you'd have a pile of cash to Pluto and back. You don't have the resources here to do that. So yes, we understand the digital mechanism. Yeah. We understand that you have to use something new, something that is improved, something you can't corrupt. Yeah. So there's been talk about the quantum financial systems. They're already corrupted. You talk on about all of these different elements. So the only way at this moment in time to speed up these proposals or to get them out there is to remove the corruption out of the banks, take over the banks with the UCC guidelines. They're already there. They're already written. It's called Uniform Bonding Codes. Put the right people in place, and then they will then operate under oath, under a new bond, the monetary system. It's the easiest way to do it. Banks aren't going to collapse because we won't allow that to happen, because that will affect everybody and it's a harmful act. So in actual fact, we're coming in and saying, all right, we'll foreclose the bank, we'll back the money in there and reestablish or reopen it, and then pay out as, let's say, interest is illegal, loans are illegal, they're liens. You know, if an IMF was going to give a nation a loan, it wants its resources for that loan. Yeah. How is the nation going to pay back that debt when all, you know, the debt that they're given or the debt that they're creating? You can't pay debt with debt. It's nonsensical. It's ridiculous.
I like that. And in terms of the key of the key word here is the corruption word, and you mentioned the bank, and then to talk about also a nation as well, that authority that you have to go into a nation to, I mean, if you're helping them, you have that authority to prosecute them?
Yes. Yeah, because if let's say a government, they swear an oath to the Constitution.
Yes.
That Constitution is common law, land law. So you'll have a constitutional court.
Yes.
So let's say a president of a nation or a prime minister of a nation is acting in a corrupt manner and harming that nation.
Yes.
Then he's gone against his oath to the Constitution of that nation. So we do operate the common law and the natural law, constitutional land laws and common law. It's common law and land laws. So you go to the Constitutional Court, we can issue a writ, a lien or a memorandum and for that an quo warranto. Now we can either use or operate with the local authorities because it is their task to perform on their duties or perform on their obligations from the courts, or failing that, we'll have to do it ourselves. But you will use and work with the local authorities in place. It could be, international authorities like Interpol or the FBI or somebody else. The general sat right there where the FBI are born or based. The CIA, these in Virginia, right there. We do work with them, and the same as they do, they get all of their orders from the courts. They get their indictments from the courts, and they investigate. So yeah, we can use those facilities, or we'll use our own. We still are the oversight.
Right. Okay. Let me quickly, I've got two messages coming from WhatsApp, and let me read two of them and I'll come to my question. So the first one is coming from David. David from London says that, thank you for this show and I am learning a lot, but my question is, what kind of authority does the World Marshal Authority have to go into a nation and to prosecute an individual? To prosecute an individual, then there is a lot to be done, especially in my continent, Africa. So that is coming from David. That's an interesting one.
I think I'm best answering that one because I deal with the continent of Africa. I deal with all of the high level. We're talking from presidential levels, kings, queens, royals, and a mass majority of African nations. Now, with Africa, as I said before, we have the authority. They come to us to endorse. We don't go to them to endorse. We don't ask. We don't have to be recognized. Right. We don't need that recognition. They need to be recognized by us. And like I said, with the constitutional courts across Africa, I deal with, let's say, the guy who wrote all constitutions since 1974 across Africa, and their courts. They've already asked the World Marshal Authority to assist them with their indictments. So yeah, we can go into any nation. We are already in the nations.
Okay.
That's the whole point. It's your own people doing this. Don't expect America or China or France or anybody else to come in and do this for you. You're doing this because we're giving you that authority. As we the people. Again, it's de jure. De jure is law. I'm de jure. The general is de jure. He owns his own 2 on record de jure courts in the American Republic. I'm the law enforcement aspect of it. We are the UCC, International Private and Commercial Law Enforcement. Right. This is how we are developed. We're all under the same bond. So as a bonded authority, not a corporate authority, we use the open border treaties, articles or various articles that give us that global immunity to perform on our obligations as the World Marshal Authority. Not just under the General's Courts, but under other various courts that have indemnified us to do the task that needs to be done.
The task that needs to be done. Let me also read another one coming from Peter. Peter is also sending from Milton Keynes. And Peter says that, thank you for this show. I've never heard of World, he put WWMA. I've never heard of them. It's a good sign that at least there's an organization to help eradicate corruption. But my biggest fear is that the authority they have, can they execute it in the various nations? Because the people are being impoverished by their leaders, and if there is an authority like that, would they be able? It's almost like the same for the first question. I think our listeners are more.
Yeah, it's a repeat. I like Milton Keynes. I hope the cows are still standing there, strong. It's going to be a repeat question.
Yes.
Due to the fact is, it's something that people haven't heard of before, because we're not egotistical. We're not going to broadcast, to the world. And like I said, we work with various courts. We have our very, very well trained marshals, let's say, around the world. They don't go broadcasting who they are and what their capabilities are. So we're trying to fix the problem.
Right.
We're not trying to make it worse. We're not trying to go to war with somebody. We don't condone any violence. We don't want you to go running off and burning government buildings down. We don't want any of that at all.
Right.
We need to fix the situation. Now, with the other entities that I operate with, you have to have an enforcement. You have to have a delivery system for what is coming to get rid of this tyrannical system that that's all being operated around the world under the corporations. You can call it big tech, big pharma, big this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is, it's spiraled out of control. So how do you fix this problem? Because they are a tyranny over you. Well, in actual fact, they operate in a debtor system. They use debtor money, promises to pay, IOUs. You're bankrupt. It's as simple as that.
Right.
Okay. So as a under bankruptcy laws in common law, you're not allowed. You know this. If you become bankrupt, let's say in the UK, for example, you can't just pick up the ball next week and carry on as you were before.
That's true.
Because you come across some money. You have to reestablish. You have to go through a process. So that process is being introduced. Now, if you've committed crimes against humanity, and the easiest way to look at this, you could have somebody from a big whatever corporation. They need to flip their money into something real and tangible. This is what we're offering. This is what is coming out to the world. So when they come and ask to flip whatever their gains are, then they have to come to us and say, Honourable Lee, I would like to convert my money to the new format, to the new digital format or whatever format we're bringing out. I said, well, okay, of course. But first of all, I'd like to see or ensure that you haven't committed crimes against humanity or the planet. Bring me the proof and we will certainly change the money for you. Flip it to what it's meant to be. If not, then unfortunately I can't. Your illegal gains are debt. It's all debt. So the richest people, or the so-called richest people on the planet, are actually the poorest. Yes, they've gained by assets, they gain all the traction by what they own, not the amount of money they have. You see Bill Gates buying land all over America right now. You see everybody buying all of this, but they don't own it. They never did. Now, when you look at all of these courts, you can go to Congress, you can go to federal courts, Supreme Courts. They're all private entities. They're all private entities. And the actual enforcements themselves that are operating, they still fall under corporation. It all falls under bankruptcy. So, like I said, we're here to address the problem, to fix the problem.
Okay.
And put things to how they should be. It sounds very complicated, it's very complex, but in actual fact it's not. We've simplified it to a format that many can and will understand.
Unbelievable.
Like the New World Order, we're not taking anything over.
Okay.
The illegal trespass has been done. We don't need to go down that road at all. We're here to fix the problem.
Let me read another WhatsApp message coming from Joyce from Neasden, and Joyce says that how long has the World Martial Authority been in existence, and why are they acting now? Are they for the poor, the masses, or the vulnerable?
Okay, so it's for everybody. It's we the people. That's what the World Martial Authority is about. We the people. That's the preamble of every single constitution on the planet.
Right.
And you know, we see enough suffering. We see enough going on around the world to actually want to do something about it. And this is why we exist. UCC has existed since 1750, pre-Constitution. The World Martial Authority, there is the general here as the Aboriginal Marshals over in America. We are the Coppertone Division. As you can see, I am not exactly Aboriginal. And so we are a Coppertone Division, which, again, as First Nations people, I have a sovereignty. My sovereignty helps or effectuates this World Martial Authority or this enforcement under the General's Bond, under the UCC bond, 019073. So with that, we actually, we are the operation, or the World Martial Authority can bring in anybody to become a marshal of, if you want to join Alter Nations or World Health, or no matter what your skill set is, there's always room for everybody. You know, it's not going against anything as such. It's more in tune with repair. We've all got to live on this planet, and we need to fix it.
We need to fix it. And if you've just joined us, you're not too late. The conversation is ongoing. We've got like about 10 minutes to be wrapping up. It's been a very, very educative program. Session that I have personally have, and also the questions coming through should tell you that people are engaging and people are loving it as well. There's another question that has just come in. This coming from James. Is it James or Jamie? Okay, so James. James says that thank you for this show. I've learned a lot. Is the organization open to recruit more people, and how can one join? Do you have to have a background in a specific
Well, I can actually answer that one for you. Well, thank you, James, for the question. Yes, you can join, depending on your specific skill set. We want you to be the best you can be. Okay? It's not about me, it's not about the general, it's about everybody. So whatever your skill set is, let's say in law enforcement, military, it could be anything. It could be a builder. You can go into Alter Nations. There is something for everybody in this.
Right.
And then, you know, we'll go through the recruitment. And then if you go onto our worldmartialauthority.life site, there is an application based on there that you can actually apply to join. All we require is your CV, and ensure that you're right for or fit for the task at hand, and then we'll place you. So there is a wide variety of skill sets that we require. The agricultural world, the medical world, the cyber world. You know, there's a load of things. You really need to go and look through our websites, read all of the links. And then you'll go onto the contact page of our worldmartialauthority.life site, and our sibling sites are right there, and there's a lot more coming.
Okay.
No, there's a lot for everybody.
There's a lot for everybody. And let me quickly acknowledge Her Excellency Charlotte Odum on Facebook. She says, good evening, sirs. There's always room for everybody. Thank you for that, Your Excellency. And let me also ask this question. In terms of the skill set, just like what James was putting across, in terms of the skill set, do you, if let's say the background of the person is in law, when the person comes on board, do you train them? Do you have specialized training for them, and the allocation as well?
Yeah, we do. It's what we're doing is we'll take the people in. It's all an education for everybody. So they need the maybe updating on their training. They might even bring a skill set in that might be help us develop as well. We're all in this together. So that's the actual impression that we want to give. We're not coming to take anything over. We're here to help and assist. And if you've got there's plenty of great people in all of the, let's say, the militaries or the police forces, even including the UN, and there's a lot of bad actors. We know this. But we want the good people in, and we want them to assist us with training, and we'll help them, especially on the law enforcement aspect or the military aspect. We haven't come from outer space. We're still Earthlings too, and that's what I'm saying. Is these skill sets, these people who have that foresight or that want to assist. I mean, when you join the military, you join it to make change. A soldier does not run into a war or a battlefield hating what's in front of him. He goes there for the love of what he's left behind. That's what a soldier is about.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to the oppression, and we've seen a lot of bad situations around the world that are going on, especially African regions.
Yeah.
And, you have Afghanistan, Iraq, everywhere else where you see all these troubled times. We want the right people in there. We're not going to send people in to go and deal or tackle with problems that don't have that skill set or that training. There is other things that they can always go and do. And if they want to join up, we want a lot of youth on board, that's for sure. And that we want the next generation. We want the next generation to come in and carry this on. This is not going anywhere. It's already indemnified, so it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Great.
You hear the
Great.
check?
Thank you, Honorable.
Hi, General. Are you back again?
Yes. I just don't have a visual.
Oh my.
Okay.
Okay. Oh wow. That's a good one. Thank you, General. But then we missed you, and I know you were listening to it. So great stuff, and thank you for coming back. I was going to read a question. There's another question coming from Benny's. Benny's is in Swiss Cottage. Benny's is asking that in terms of your services in the various countries, do you choose when to go into a particular country, or you just go in?
I think I understand what you're asking here. Now, we already have people in the countries. I don't need to go anywhere.
Okay.
So the point of the matter is, like I said, we operate with the court systems that already exist in these nations, constitutional courts. So we send the indictments, or if there is a particular problem, yes, I do travel around, and I do go and meet with leaders of nations, and we try to get things settled. Let's say, there is a lot of animosity towards many leaders around the world.
That's true.
With good reason. There is good reason. I'm not going to contest or argue that. But if they're in power going against their constitutional, which they swore an oath to, then what are you meant to do? Just ignore it? You can't ignore it. And if they're changing things for their own benefit,
Yeah.
then that's not helping people at all. So then it's down to we the people. You can actually, as we the people, this is something that people don't understand, is you can remove the government anytime you want.
Yeah.
You voted for it, you can remove it just as quickly.
Okay, that's a good one. I've got a question on Facebook, but before I go into the Facebook question, which possibly I don't know if General will want to answer that, but what I want to ask is that in terms of the way you work is from top to bottom. So you deal with the head and you work your way downwards in every nation that you get into. So you have access to the top hierarchy, the top guys, before you can work your way down. Now there's a perception that not just the politicians are corrupt, but the civil servants are the ones they are the most corrupt, that causes the politicians to be more corrupt. What is your take on that? I don't know if General.
The General can give his take on it, but
Okay.
when we're talking, because you're talking about law enforcement here, and you're talking about criminal acts.
Yes.
So we don't just start at the top and work our way down. We meet in the middle. We're
Right.
actually dealing with the bottom as well. This is the whole point of getting the funding out or getting something to the project on the ground. It bypasses the whole system. It doesn't get corrupted en route, because it's very easy to drop a document, let's say, into a bank, and they credit, and then they're in control of it. You need to be in control of this thing all the way through, because this is an age-old situation. The bank is corrupt, the lawyer's corrupt, or whoever's corrupt, and you never get anything shifted. So in a social, let's say social services in the UK, or there's a lot of things going on with children. Okay,
Yeah.
we know about, everybody knows about it, because you have the internet this day and age, and it tells you all you want to know.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to look up anything, even though it's all being stopped or being blocked in some way. All the freedom of speech is going, the whole thing seems to be falling apart.
Yeah.
However, you do have these rights, or these writs. So there is somewhere to report, there is somewhere to go, there always has been. Now, you've just got to find that right enforcement, or that right facility to go to. So no, we don't start at the top. Yes, I have to deal with the top, because I am an honourable. So you have to understand a de jure honourable, not a de facto one. The president of a nation is a de facto, it's a lesser. So when you're dealing with people on the ground, and I do deal with anybody can call me anytime.
Right.
And what I do is explain to them that, yes, we're working from the bottom up and the top down. We'll meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And we will clear out that corrupt element, or those corrupt elements. A lot of people have been so institutionalized into these systems and believe in it so much and believe that it's true. They don't know the difference until they have that education.
Okay. Until they have that education. And so let me go straight to Facebook, where I have Blessing Bonu, who says, oh, hey, bro. Thank you for joining us. He says, can they give us some examples of countries they have helped before, and live projects they have sponsored that we can witness? Also, can he explain the voucher system? So that is coming from one of our viewers on Facebook. I don't know.
Okay, I can give you the short version, or General, do you want to give the long one? I can give the short version. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Okay.
All right, so the voucher system is quite simple. A voucher is to vouch. It's a credit, okay? So you issue the bank a credit for X amount.
Right.
So I can rattle off a few countries for you that we are currently assisting. You have to remember that the voucher system has only been out since May this year, or let's say June this year.
Okay.
So it's not been out forever and a day. So we're working through it. The banks have to understand it. We have to educate them. So here's an example. Let's take Mauritius, for example. So I have a voucher for Zambia to help out Zambia because Zambia doesn't understand it. So they come back and are bouncing around with this debtor system called the SWIFT. Now, we don't deal with the debtor system because the general here is the creditor.
Yeah.
The secured party creditor.
Right.
So that voucher is mine. We're vouching for it, full faith, credit, debit, assurance, and fully insured. So we hand that to the bank. They simply just go to credit. Goes to the underwriter. He underwrites it as we are the oversight. So all responsibilities, liabilities, anything to do with that voucher are held by us, not them. All they are is the transfer agents. They just pass it through and they help administer the funds to the projects. So we're not battling all the way through the World Bank, the Central Bank, and the Reserve Banks to the bank where the money's to go. It's going direct to account. So with that, the bank has to have the capital to credit. So when they credit, they need 12.5%. So any vouchers that we issue, 20% goes to the bank, 60% to the project, and some part goes to the World Marshal Authority, as that is a project in itself. And it needs to be administered, and we need money as well, just like anybody else does, to operate within that nation. Money doesn't leave the nation. And that's as simple as it is. There is non-recourse. There is nothing to pay back. This goes against the debt. So, nations, South Africa, Tanzania, Swaziland, Lesotho, Angola, Zanzibar, as well. Zanzibar, we've got a massive project there right now. We're building a prison there.
Right.
Swaziland the same. Nigeria, Morocco, Armenia, Hungary. The list is endless. Yeah, we're helping lots of nations.
Okay.
You don't see the effects of this until you see the project start.
Right.
The project will start. As the enforcer of these vouchers, the bank is under obligation to perform. So as soon as you start seeing buildings flying up, hospitals flying up, agricultural sector, we're helping out a lot of nations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
I would like to,
General.
General, please, if you can, if you can also give us a bit more into it, and also if I can add this too, how do you write debt off for countries?
Okay, well, I'll start back. I want to make certain that the viewing audience, those that are listening, will stay to the integrity, because what we do not want is for people to think in terms of a greed or a quick fix.
Yeah.
The relationship with the vouchers is started from an integrity standpoint of view, where there was a major infidelity that had taken place with the state of Virginia. Years ago, about 15, maybe 16 years ago. So I've been very interactive within the locality of Great Seal Perseverando. That is the secured, or the land, that is the government. It is not the state of Virginia that was dissolved in 1624 to have this vision. And the credits has never been issued by the state. This is the misconception. The First Nation people have always been the commercial people.
Right.
So what happened is I had to, over 15 to 20 years, in terms of the Federal Reserve banking system or any type of institution, I would go in there, and they have what you have defined as a registered agent to take true bills on, essence, a legal process that is defined. And I'm not just talking, I'm going to make certain that you have these records. You may see that there's a service of process where I stated that the Uniform Commercial Code was not to go under the state. However, this was not shared with most people. This is the legal sequence that defaults the state if they charges the secured party creditor. Right. That has nothing to do with just your legal standing. It's commercial standing on essence in terms of a default or a deficit. We do not incur, sir. Right. So I had to write or create certain systems that will work together by my authorship and have the cooperative mechanisms to comprehend that they are already in place to facilitate. And it's nothing new. This is an ancient situation where the colonists had come into the land and they were under a default system. And that did not include the people that was already there on the continent.
Right.
And at the Treasury knows, and I'm going to share with you, you have 6 operational systems as I stated in your charter. Okay, so any one of these operational systems would be connected to the financial or the Federal Reserve banking system. They chose to patronize the General Assembly. Now let me read to you the General Assembly's standing.
Right.
It stated that the General Assembly is the Acts of Assembly, but this is the Virginia Acts of Assembly. It don't say the Common Law Acts.
Yeah.
It doesn't say the laws of Parliament. It says the Constitution of the Commonwealth. So I could have the Republic articles up here that have my legislature, and then they would issue enforcement and all of that. They didn't do that. They hid the other operational systems, common law of England insofar as not repugnant to the principles of Bill of Rights, which is another operational system, and Constitution of this Commonwealth, which is 2 other operational systems on applied jurisdictions, shall continue in full force with the same, and be the rule of decision except as altered by the General Assembly, which they cannot alter. So this was a colonial default charter that had undermined the other operational systems that would be in commerce, sir. So this is the fault. They wanted to do this to undermine the 1930 Geneva Convention.
Right.
So in terms of the voucher, it's not anything special. It's the instrument that I can only use in order to convey this particular status. So I'm not running from anything.
Right.
Neither in essence I am trying to be separate from anything. It is because I'm at good standing. And those that has this particular standing, you can't write instruments of commerce if you're criminal, if you're under debt, if you're a liar, if you're a thief, if one in essence are part of any unsettlements, and of course debtor status. So we have to keep the integrity because we're not issuing debt paper or promissories. And these vouchers are fully backed by the amount that in essence in terms of what is expressed in agreements. It's not a bluff paper. You know, most people would take a note or this and that and this and that. No, I have straight bonded back cold cash.
Right.
I like to say that, but cash is equivalent to the voucher because that is the lawful instrumentality. It is not in essence a note that misrepresentate and does not discharge the deficit, which puts the original people at a disadvantage because those credits were put in prisons and in peculiar institution systems to undermine us, the landowner. See, so every time they funded a project, they put up a fence and blocked off the land from the Aboriginal people and put a trespass against them. These things stopped. These were illegal.
Yeah.
They are not. So we're not trying to create or recreate the wheel. It has been in place, and they were in default at 1450. So Pope Francis' revocation of Romanus Pontifex is what I have taken into my judicial capacity to enforce, because what it says is that they did not have permission to come into the Americas. That affects all the accounts standing to date, chronologically going back to the first default. So I have secured all of those relations, and I'm in a relations to make certain that Vatican is respected, the churches are respected, the United Nations are respected, nothing stops. And in essence, also, I'm the one that went to the United Nations 3 times, and I sat with high commissions, and they pointed to that they were quite impressed with us being in suit, in uniform, and taking care of the matter because they had no resolve. So we have to comprehend that the money also is connected to a judicial system of good standing and enforcement, which is Honorable Lee. So you have a whole integrity-based system. It's not just about the voucher. You have a lot of input in terms of that particular relationship. And I'm greatly appreciated for Honorable Lee and for the good standing marshals that are all over the world. And what I wanted to share with you before we shut out, because most people would always ask, how are you going to do this? Is already done. Okay, let me read to you. This is a charter. You most likely know every continent. Okay, this is their constitution. All of the charters of the colonies were written the same.
Right.
In the beginning, sir, again, they have other operational systems that the clerk at the counter, which is the circuit courts or the parliaments or the judicial presence will have other operational systems to make certain that there's a resolve. Let me read to you those resolves.
Right.
It says the right and benefit of all writs, which are ancient tribunals that are distinguished from debt corporation courts under default. The writs only brings remedies.
Right.
So I have a lien on the entire Uniform Commercial Code system and the National Association of Corporate Administrations as well. I've met and talked with these presidents before I did the lien, or in essence, simultaneously they called afterwards the military as well. They knew that they could do this because they are not defined as the organic grantor or guarantor.
Right.
They are in contrast to that because everyone that serves is a servant. Okay? So we have the next situation, remedy is judicial, and it can be given by any statute that is bonded or any act of parliament made in the aid of common law prior to the fourth reign of the James I of a general nature, not local to England, still shall be saved insofar as the same are consistent with another operational system, sir, Bill of Rights and the Constitution of the Republic, Commonwealth, and last but not least, but really is the one who was nullified, and the Acts of General Assembly. So you have 6 operational systems that splits the all of the trustees at your circuit courts, at your parliaments, and if it's a free man, he will go to this counter. You get it?
Yeah.
If it's a debtor man or woman, they go to this counter.
Yeah.
This person has a priest process, they go to a priest. Alternative disputes, you go to the sheriff office. You don't go to the civil process.
Right.
Civil process is only for employees under default. They cannot bring forth salvation. This is a workforce to receive the salvation. So that salvation has been undermined, as you say, by the corrupt families or different people that were in place. And this is what we're rectifying and remedy. So it doesn't tear up anything. People now would be able to see that war is a joke. It's not something that you have to do. No one has to fight. Mind of a thief that tries to make people think that something was stolen. It's not. Everything is secured. So before I shut my mouth, at the domestic level, you have commissioners. I'm an extension to your secretary's office, which is the governor that is coming in. The last governor was Ralph Nottingham, the state of Virginia charter. There's 2 seals. This is the Great Seal Perseverando, and that is the seal in essence that is superior to the governor. And in fact, it's in the blue book of the secretary's office that we are the landowners and that they have the lesser seal that would only articulate the legalities within their corporate lesser stance or status. So everything has been worked out. All of these memorandums, which are decrees, ancient decrees that are expressed by sovereigns or royals for the effectuation of the overall good. Memoranda, with an A on the end, is just a memory, an agenda. That's the United Nations. It's not a legal concept.
Yeah.
It's just something that they're going to do, that they plan, and they may not have the best interest of all people. No disrespect. Respects be to you all. I hope that I've made myself clear. If there's any more questioning.
Powerful, General Belton. Thank you so much. Wow, so much information, and Excellency Charlotte on Facebook says there are a lot of injustices in the justice system in terms of incarceration. How do they come in to assist young offenders for going into jail for something like peeling an orange before paying in a shop and got arrested here in the UK? Thank you. She says all for awesome information. This history was made bare also in black. This information was partly made bare on PBS in Black History Month. Okay. Thank you, General, for re-echoing this information. Very vital, very clear, and that's one of our viewers on Facebook giving that contribution. Amazing information. We've got some few minutes to wrap up. I wanted to ask this possibly the last 2 final questions. You kept on Honorable Clegg. you were talking about the banks. So, do you deal with local banks or let's say, if it's in England, is the Bank of England, and also do you undertake government projects or private projects as well?
No, okay. So I deal with many banks around the world. The Bank of England is mainly a sovereign bank. They are actually their own entity. You'd be quite surprised. They're a pretty good bank. One of the best, I would say, out of all of them. You have like the likes of the central banks, let's say HSBC, Citibank, Bank of America, and all of those entities. I mean, the lesser banks are a lot more difficult to deal with, in the fact because their licenses operated through a correspondence account. They are just a transfer agent. They held an account within a central bank. This is how they are. They perceive themselves to be banks. So we deal with all. Excuse me. The point of the matter here is any agency or transfer agent or agency can deliver the system or credit the system that we issue. It doesn't cost them anything to do it. Right. Credit is margin. Margin is money somewhere else, i.e. the voucher. Now, yes, we are tackling a lot of banks. I mean, we have to put banks on notice. We have to deal with the corrupt elements in banks. It's not just all about the vouchers. This is my whole point. We deal with a lot of other entities as well that have major difficulties or problems with blocked funds, blocked assets, blocked things they have in their accounts. So they ask for our assistance with that. Okay. But no, it's not government projects. Governments are there. If they do have to approve the projects, we can't just go and throw a skyscraper up on their own accord. These approvals need to be met, or they need to be put in place.
Okay. And before we wrap up, I'll go back straight to General Belton. And General, we talked. I asked Honorable Lee Clerk about the next 10 to 15 years, the goal of World Marshal Authority, and if you can give us just a gist of your version, and also I know it's the same organization, and but then your version, and also what we should be expecting. We're getting into 2022 by God's grace. We will be there. What should we be expecting, and what is going to be the key role that World Marshal Authority is going to be playing in our society, nations across the globe?
Yes, very well. Very well questioned. The balance is the most powerful thing, to make certain that that is effectuated. People comprehending that everybody is sort of stressed or don't know where to go, is to get the common man to comprehend that you are a jurist. You can be an extension to a court judiciary. I train Aboriginal Indigenous people as marshals that will work from their house, from their stead. They have been proper psychologically adjusted to comprehend, to take responsibility for self. Self-determination is a jurisdiction. It's not loosely termed. See, that's the first jurisdiction. That is the most powerfulest, to be self-determined. Then the second is to have the first, not to intend to injure or to undermine, but to get over the next 10 or 15 years, the common man and woman out of the idolatrous state and respecting what had birthed you on planet Earth, and that you can participate here without being bastardized or molested or undermined. And if there is an injustice, that you are special as the next man and woman to be guaranteed that particular recourse, remedy, and redress, and that it would lead to the one being satisfied. That those who have had acts of terror perpetrated against them, people do not know how one feels if they have been molested. If a person has been molested or abused, they would have a better understanding of what they want. So we don't take that from them. It is to facilitate projects where people that wanted to do at nature, not lie, not kill, not rob, not undermine, they can go forth. And this is what the funding is. And in essence, this existed through the reserve system as well. But sometimes you have people that corrupt. The symbolizations that are on the Federal Reserve note is there. You have a 1789 seal that bonded the Treasury in the Americas that affected all of the continents everywhere to make certain that you don't undermine liberty. And this seal, before I close, the Great Seal Perseverando, the definition is to sustain liberty.
Yeah.
So it is a non-political jurisdiction that is distinct from the colonial sheriff department, and we are not so much higher in terms of being grander, but it's a greater responsibility, and that this is the effectuations for humanity. So we must know that all machinery, artificial intelligence, all things that are created cannot be created.
General, just 1 second. Can you show that again so that
yes.
Because the three of us were on, so possibly people might have not. Yeah, the Great Seal. I can see. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The seal that all of the nations, especially the Americas, had declared their freedom and their liberty to.
Right.
Coming out of Britain, and that seal right there was the memorandum. Of course, they were here several hundred, or had relations coming back and forth, missionaries. But it had gotten to a point in 1760s when the Civil War kicked off because of the corrupt form of a Roman style or lex forti that was introduced to the common law that Thomas Jefferson did not want to affect the people here. And the natives did not want that. So there was a war that took place, and this is the enduring peace of 1776 to sustain the liberty, to make certain that there is a non-political superior stance, that if anybody becomes chaotic, that there would be an energy that would memorandum them, and without question, to hold the bureaucrat, technocrat, and corporatocrat liable, not just the account as accountable.
Okay, that's a very, very powerful one coming from General Belton, and I will go straight to Honorable Lee Clerk. And my question is, Honorable, do you get government turning you away, or try to shy away from yourselves as an organization, as an authority, because of the system that they are operating? Do you get countries that tend to sort of not wanting to do business with
you?
You're
talking about resistance from nations or governments or banks or anything.
Yes.
There's always some resistance. It depends. If they're resisting, then why are they resisting? Or why are they trying to make us look into them if they did? So no, it's not, we're not here for a takeover. We're here to help resolve the situation, or work with you to resolve the situation.
Yeah.
Yes, if you've done something bad, you've done something bad. It's the same as anybody. You'll have to pay for that. Let's say crime or whatever you've committed. You can't just walk away from it and just ignore it because you've helped out, you've done something bad, and now you're going to do something good. You can't ignore the bad. So when it comes down to the governments, or there is resistance, or we spoke about this earlier. You're talking about the New World Order or the corporate entities, and some president's got a gun against his head by some corporate faculty. Well, fine, we want to look into that. We want to see what that problem is, and why you have that problem. And because it's affecting your nation, it's affecting your people. If you can't see that your people are suffering, then I don't really think you should be in power. It should put somebody better in place. And that's all it is, really. Yes, we know there's corrupt ministers. We know there's corrupt presidents. We know the corruption is right throughout the planet. But the banking system is the scam. That's what you have to understand here. That is how is money debt? Ask yourself that question. It's a scam straight away. That's what it is. So we're trying to tackle that, and we will deal with that problem. There's no two ways about it. We're indemnified to deal with this problem. The banks do not have a choice. It's as simple as that. And those that try to resist, well, you will go to jail, because you can't carry on like this. You just can't. And I don't, for one, understand. I couldn't comprehend why a bank would not accept money. Doesn't make any sense. So that's, if there is resistance, then we will look into that resistance and why there is that resistance. So we'll look on the ground.
So are you saying if a bank, refuses, World Marshal Authority will have to investigate that, why they are refusing to do business. Okay.
Yes, but they are. Excuse me. They are already preempt via UCC 3-603 to present the tender. If they refuse, it puts a lien on the item, and in essence, asset seizure forfeiture takes place because the obligation is there by the UCC. They are obligors. So what they would be doing is defrauding, or what they may be attempting to encumber, transferring a security that they are not, in essence, owner, right, or in essence the beneficiary of. So they were to not model themselves as banks. They were to model themselves as transfer agencies. The municipal rulemaking security boards defines them as public security dealers.
Right.
So they to make certain that there would be a representation of respect in the community of all of people that may present. And they didn't do that. That was the legislative branch that modeled themselves as the law. And they have never been, and they are not, and they cannot be. They can only be servants. So there's an obligation force that is in place that will, in essence, that's preempt to enforce or secure the obligations.
Wow, amazing. And finally, I Honorable Lee Clerk, you mentioned that some of the countries is Zanzibar. You're building a prison there. So in terms of prosecution, can you prosecute a president or a government official or a bank official, and can you imprison them if they are found guilty?
Well, they're already guilty. They're already guilty of UCC bankruptcy. That's an automatic 10-year sentence without due process.
Wow.
So if they don't perform on their obligations, then what am I to do? So I can't ignore the law being broken or people being mistreated. What we issue is for humanity, and if you're not committing to that obligation or performing on that obligation, then you're committing a crime against humanity. It's very simple. It's very logical. So, yeah, you're going to get stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I think the best course of action here is to perform on that obligation. You have a duty to do that. I perform my duties. They should perform theirs.
I like that. Honorable Lee Clerk and General Belton, I would like to say a very, very, very big thank you for taking time, your busy schedules, to come on the show. I can promise you this is not going to be the first or the last. We need this education to be ongoing so that the message will go out there, so that we can touch lives and make that difference, so that the people that really needs the services that you're offering will have it, will receive it, enjoy it, because they're hard workers that are working hard. And Honorable Lee Clegg, you mentioned something about the citizens who are the employers and are giving all the authority to the employees who are the government, which is out of order. It should be the other way around. They are supposed to serve the citizens. And General Belton also mentioned some unique points that we need to have a look. And I know that people are going to be commenting right after. I mean, even for the days to come and weeks to come. And in the new year, I believe that we can schedule another time for us to talk more into details of how we can engage and educate and empower many, because the more education that we give, I believe that the more understanding people will get, and we can work with the society that we are living in. So if you have some closing remarks from General Belton, and then Honorable Lee Clegg before we wrap up, please.
Yes, Ms. Rich, to you, please continue to listen. Talk with KB Bossman. Respects be to him. Thank you so much. The people, everyone, we respect you highly and love to learn to love each other. And let's not entertain lies. That's the self-destruction. So respects to you. May the great divine protect you and keep all of you.
Amen.
Thank you so much, KB Bossman, to your family and to the staff at the radio station, everyone. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you so much, General. It's a pleasure. And Honorable?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what the General has just said. You know, thanks very much for this interview. It's been a pleasure. I hope that we've been able to answer any questions or bring this education forward to everybody. Yeah, we're here. You know where to find us now on worldmartialauthority.live. And it's going to be very educational. It's going to be a very big eye-opener over the next few months. So just watch us, just keep your eyes open and you'll see us pop up now and again. Very, very, very true. And it's a great honor to have you both come on the show Faith Talk on Star Radio UK this and every Sunday. And I've got some details to give out to our listeners and viewers. If you want to make contact with the organization that's World Martial Authority, the International Relations Marshal Ambassador Lee Minakum, I believe I've got it right, Minakum. I can leave her details. Her phone number is +277 444. Let me take it again. The phone number for International Relations Marshal Ambassador Lee is +277 44898645. That's +277 44898645. And you can also, as Honorable Lee Clerk mentioned, you can also contact them or log on to www.alternations.live and www.worldmartialauthority is it World Martial Authority .com .org? No, it's .life. Everything we do is .life. We're not a corporation, organization, association. Yeah, it's .life.
.life. Okay.
Life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So World Martial Authority .live and www.alternation.live. So you have all the contact details. They'll be more than happy to engage you if you want to know more about the organization. If you want to learn more about what we've discussed, there's more and more information out there. There's a lot we don't research into, and they have been around that long. You saw the documentation that General Belton was showing to us. There's a lot more for them to show if you want to know. And you see, if you're a person of integrity, you will always stand up for the truth, and the truth can stand the test of time. Nobody can override it. It might be buried for a moment, but from till everlasting it will stand, and it will always win. So that is what I believe in, and I believe that you also want the best for humanity. Why not? Why don't we come together and work together and make it happen for your brother, for your sister. There's a life and a better life in every soul and everybody. So these are my closing remarks, and I thank General Belton and Honorable Lee Clerk for coming on. World Martial Authority, thank you so much for making it on the show. Thank you, and have a good evening from the City of London. Star Radio UK, Faith Talk is the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Be blessed.
All right then. Okay. All right. So you had it all for yourself, and I have enjoyed and learned a lot. I don't know about you, but hey, if I were you, I will say that I'll get more information. I have given you the details, and I'm going to make the details available again. There's more for you and I to learn. And as I said, there's not going to be the first or the last interview. We need more education. There's a lot that we don't spend time to learn and get ourselves educated. Very key, very important. So therefore, make a date in the new year. We'll let you know, but check it out on all our social media handles and channels. And when it's ready, you know what? If you don't know your right, everything they will sell everything and anything to you. It's better to know. There's always a solution to every problem. That's what I believe. And there are solutions out there. General Belton mentioned it as well. And so you know what? The winner man, the winner man, the winner man. This is coming from Tosin B and the group Praise Unlimited medley. The winner man. This has been your one and only KBA Bossman. Luway. I'm wrapping up now. My time is up. This is an extended version of Faith Talk. You see, it's been a learning curve for me. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to play back. I always do play back, knowing that because whatever you choose not to learn or open up to learn, you will never know and understand. Understanding puts you on top of issues. It puts you in the driving seat. You become the man that you want or the woman that you want to be. We've gone to Niger now. Ebu Bedike, Jehovah the Great Warrior. That's what it means. A big shout out to you, Apostle Robert Asari. Thank you, sir. Apostle, God bless you for tuning in. Your Excellency Shalodo Doom, thank you. God bless you. My brother and friend, Blessings Bonu. God bless you all the way from South Africa. Let me say a big shout out to you, Mrs. Benis Efia Kwachua Amwako, the one and only. This is a special request from Mr. Amwako to say that he loves and appreciates you dearly. You're a unique, virtuous woman. He thanks God for your life. When the message came through, I was like, oh my. You're a gift to the family. God bless you and more power to you. Keep on doing the great work and looking after the family. So this goes to you, Mrs. Benny Samwako. More blessing, more power. Let me say a big shout out to my bishop and father in the Lord, Bishop Dr. Franco Fosuapi, all the way in Atlanta, Georgia, all nations, Carrie's house, and Reverend Mrs. Mary Fosuapia. Mommy, Daddy, God bless you and more power to you. Mama Adelaide, I love and appreciate you. I salute you and more blessings to you and the family. Reverend Mrs. Margaret Williams, Mommy, God bless you and more power to you. All the apostles, His Excellency Reverend Atabadu Senior, Zoe Christian Center, and the First Lady Veronica Bedu. God bless you and the entire family, Zoe Christian Center. More power to you. A big shout out to you, Her Excellency Dr. Princess Lillian. God bless you and more power to you. I know you can dance to this. And a big shout out to you, Your Excellency Grace Kisira, the apostle himself, Mo and Chris. God bless you. Mama Justine, we love and appreciate you. More power to you, Mommy. Mama Mary, Rosemary. Mama Rosemary, I know you're listening to us all the way in Kampala. Britta, Dorcas, Mr. Robert, Mama Leo. Hey, my one and only David himself, the warrior, the anointed man of God. More power to you. In Kesese, dance to this. A big shout out to you, Apostle Julius Amoa and the First Lady and the entire family at Rehoboth City Church. God bless you. More power to you guys. We love and appreciate you. We're getting into deeper waters in Niger. Don't worry, I'll get you something to dance more. Hallelujah. Okay. A big shout out to you, Mr. Frank Davis. How's your holiday going? I know you're enjoying every bit of it. The sunshine, vitamin D plus. Ha ha ha. Enjoy it, sir. More power to you. Mighty, mighty, mighty. Before I wrap up, before I go, join myself and Vicky Newton this Thursday on the Property Hour show live on Star Radio UK. It's gonna be a sweet one, powerful. If you want to learn, if you want to get into properties, it's the Property Hour show, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Thursday. Mr. Eric Sego, more power to you. God bless you, sir. More power to you and the family. We love and appreciate you. Mr. Charles Brown and the Brown family, more power to you, sir. More blessings. Apostle Solomon, Apostle Joe Youngson, all the way in Accra, Ghana. Nanaya Pia Bossman, Pamiotia Pia Bossman, all the Accra crew, and also the Australian crew. Nana Ewusi, I salute and honor you and the family. Our fans in China as well, John and the entire family. We salute you. Thank you for keeping faith with us. Let me begin to wrap up now. My Redeemer lives. Come on, dance to it.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
He rescue. A big shout out to you, Apostle Kenneth Esiama, all the way in Holland. God bless you, sir. We love and appreciate you and the family. Apostle Bernard Apia Bossman, bro, God bless you and more power to you. And Daniel and Abigail, the most powerful team ever. How can I forget Joe and Inshira? Love you both, guys. More power to you and more blessings to you. Okay, so tomorrow morning, join Mr. Archie Hammond and the team, the morning show team, as they discuss current affairs, breaking news, every news, entertainment, politics across the African continent, Europe, Asia, America. It's got to be here. It's your favorite Afro-Caribbean station, Star Radio UK, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow morning. A big thank you to M&M Concept, our very cherished sponsors. If you're looking for a graphic design company or to design your banners and merchandise, it's M&M Concept. These guys are a global company based in Ghana. Amazing company. Customer service, super numero un. That's what the French will say. Numero un, number one. You can connect with them via us 0208133257. Or you can send us a message on all our social media platforms. We'll be more than happy to connect you. Jehovah.
The best radio show.
Thanks for listening.
Jehovah. What can I say about me associate? If you're looking for a project management company in Ghana for your housing project, look no further. It's Mayor Associate from conception to completion. These guys are professionals, trustworthy. They account for every penny. So connect with them for your next commercial or private project. They will deliver on time. More efficient ways that they work to save you more money as well. But quality stands out. On 0208133257, we'll connect you. I am dancing. What are you doing? Okay, so Kerry's Furniture has the Christmas sale on. You know what? You don't want to miss out on the 15% if you do mention Star Radio UK. They are based in Atlanta, Georgia, but they can deliver to your doorstep no matter where you are, from Achimbegro all the way to Caracas, Venezuela. They can deliver from Moscow all the way to Congo Brazzaville. And you know what? Your discount is attached to it, 15%. The Christmas sale is on. Get your new Interior deco from Karis Furniture, KHARIS. Connect with them on Instagram or Facebook, and they will deliver to your doorstep. Amazing company, professionals in the business. So last but not the least is CIG Properties. If you're looking for a company, professionals that will take care of your investment in terms of property. If you're a landlord, you're looking to rent out your property for rent guaranteed, that you don't have to be troubled or to get worked up of as to how you're going to get your next rent coming through. If you're looking to get into the property industry as well to lend, if you're looking for investment in the property industry, if you're looking to buy property in the UK or in Africa or land, look no further. It's CIGPropertyUK.com, CIGPropertyUK.com, and these guys will connect you. They will make sure that your investment is looked after. These guys know what they are doing, been in the industry for a while, and they will take care of business for you. Connect with them on www.cigpropertyuk.com. So therefore, I draw the curtains down. Thank you so much for keeping faith with me and my special guest. It's been amazing. I've learned a lot, but hey, don't go away without, you know what? You see, there's a lot here. You can get more information from www.alternation, that's ALTER nations.live. This is from my guest. So Global Commander Honorable Lee Clegg and General Belton, they were my very special guest, triple VIP guest. www.worldmarshalauthority.live. Get information from there. Connect with them. You will know what it takes to eradicate corruption. It is possible. They know what they are doing. They will get there. I believe so. So I say thank you. Have a very, very good evening and a blessed week coming. We're in the month of December already. The 5th of December is the doing of the Lord. God has kept us in the 12th month. He will see us through to cross over. I will hear your testimony. And God bless, no stress, nothing less. Remember, God has not created any junk yet. You are in the image of God. And so whatever God has created, you can do even much more. It is written that Jesus spoke. John 14:12, the works that I have done, greater works would you do if only you believe. So believe in God, but also believe in yourself, that the grace upon your life by the mercies of God will make you achieve breakthrough and do whatever you need to do. Every goal you set, believe in it. If it's of God, it will stand and you will break through. You will do what you need to do and leave a better legacy for this generation and the generations unborn yet to come and testify of the goodness of the Lord. Believe. Your confidence, you don't have to cast away, because it has a great reward. And so therefore, believe the Lord. Believe in Jesus Christ. He's the only way, the truth, and the life. Without him, you'll be in crisis. As a believer, you're not supposed to be defeated. You can be challenged, but a defeat for a Christian, it's an error. And so challenges are part of the process that God gives and allows us to stretch us and increase our faith. But hey, for you to be defeated, it's an error. Tofiakwa, as a Niger person would say. And so I leave you with this: believe in the Lord your God. You will prosper. You'll be established. But you will prosper if you believe in the word of his prophet. And so I declare to you that the word of God is profitable to them that believe and apply, to them that work and act on the word. And so I leave you with this. This week, your testimony will not be denied. You'll be covered, preserved, and sustained. Your doors that you have been waiting for them to open will open this week. And may the Lord bless you and cause his face to shine upon you. And have a better, bigger, a better week, a bigger testimony. The best ever is about to come from you. Nobody else but you. Thank you for keeping faith and God bless you. Have a blessed week. I'm out. Let's follow the Lord. Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
My God will carry me. My God, they carry me, they go. I don't know who carries you, they go. Me, I don't know. But you know something? I know that God, they carry me, they go every day, every time. He protects, preserves, and sustains me. So dance to this tune and have a blessed evening. God bless you.
Only the best music.
This is Star Radio UK.
The best radio show.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking.
Radio UK.
Only the best music. Only the best music.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
In your car,
At work.
at home.
On your smartphone.